guidance that we are trying to prepare is basically grasping the findings from what was presented previously by Elena and Eleonora to put a guidance that will try to detail funding source, investment, business model option to finance and operate sustainable rural mobility and tourism solution. Okay. And what they were just saying that on the one hand, it's trying to increase the capacity of local implementers to use the available funding instrument, but also on the other hand, to provide feedback to European national policymakers and program managers. And there are some specific objectives that are specifically looking towards rural municipalities. That is the primary target of the European Rural Mobility Network and the SMARTA-NET project. And also, on the one hand, there are some operational objectives, but also on the other hand, we want to really see what's going to be possible in the very short term. So, for example, trying to see how different forms of cooperation that have been promoted through rural development funds, such as Smart Village, Leader, and so on, might also be applied to rural mobility solution. And then I wanted to share with you the approach that we are starting to design and to draft, and we thought about a pathway for trying to draft this guidance. So on the one hand, starting from the nature of the lead proposal, whether it's a municipality or a transport authority, an NGO, whatever, and trying to look at what is the primary type of the project, if it is a kind of a general mobility service or a mobility service for a specific destination, it could be tourist or not, and so forth and so on. And then starting to see what is the type of mobility service that is proposed for funding, whether it is a bus service, a fixed route, a demand-responsive transport, or a car pooling or car sharing scheme, and so forth and so on. So starting from that, we will move forward to look at the funding mix. And as also previously mentioned by Leonora and Elena, the issues about the life cycle of a transport solution is, of course, will also be included. So we will try to focus on the concept and the design of the preparatory, on the CAPEX, on the OPEX, on the pilot startup, and so forth and so on. And also trying to combine different funding sources, whether it could be a single source that could be at European or national level, or could be a blended of different sources. And of course, that is linked to the scale of funding that is seeking, whether it is just 15,000 or it is actually 500,000 or so forth and so on. I think this will also be included in the next discussion upcoming on the panel, but also transportation is a highly regulated sector, so there needs to be authorization in terms of permits, of business license, of vehicle driver insurance, and so forth and so on. And we also try to give some insight about who has the legal, organization, and financial capacity to provide rural mobility services in the area. The last point of my presentation is this will try to end up with a stepwise, or let's say a step-by-step guidance to prepare business plan, to put values on benefit associated with rural mobility. This was also presented by Leonora in previous slide, and then also how to apply for funding, how to can make a strong application, and so forth and so on. So thank you very much, and keep in touch if you wish to receive further information.